Hey there everyone, welcome back to Ware Yard up in the loft, and it's really good to see you all again. And I thought today, I haven't really done an update on the loft layout for a while. But I've been busy with other videos, and you can see there the brilliant Acura scale HUO hoppers, and this is in their weathered form, as you saw in the previous video. And those really good coal loads, really actually very impressed with those. So would you believe me if I told you that it's been maybe 20 years since I actually last tried to weather my own rolling stock? I'm not a big fan of doing it, but I was asked to do these just to see how they would turn out. So I did them as a little bit of a favour maybe, but actually I'm so pleased with the way that they've come out. You can see just lurking behind them is one of the Hornby HTO wagons. And yeah, they kind of started out, these grey ones started out nearly the same colour. And you can see just how much that weathering has brought it out. So I'm really quite tempted to weather up the Hornby HTOs. And if I turn around here, you can see the rake of them along there. So I do have quite a lot. I do like that type of wagon. And I think that they would be much benefited from being weathered. So one of the things that's on the to-do list up here in Ware Yard is to get those wagons weathered and just see how they turn out. I might see about doing a video in conjunction with Hornby maybe, because I think it's important to share some of these skills with people. And also there's the Pico scratch built, well, pretty much scratch built engine shed. It was one of their craftsman kits, and just to preempt people going, oh well, you know, the clue is in the title, craftsman kits. Well, you don't expect to open up your Craftsman beers and find that all you've got is a little pile of barley and some yeast and a litre John of water. So, you know, in the same way, you don't expect a kit to kind of expect you to make everything from scratch. But enough about dwelling on that. What else have I been up to? Well, actually, not a huge amount. I've been trying to put lights in some of the buildings, and I actually found some more of those little LED type lights. I've got 4 left, and my thoughts were actually I want to do those buildings at the back there, but also I thought that these buildings here might benefit from a light in a piece. So I don't know whether actually if I light these up, it's going to leave me not enough bulbs for in the ones at the back. So my thoughts are, if I had a bulb in that, and then 2 bulbs somewhere in that terrace at the back, just see how it works out. I can move them around a little bit, I guess. But that's on the to-do list. But one of the areas that I have been working on, it's actually quite tricky to show you an awful lot down here. It's very cramped, and there's not a lot of room. So I'm going to try and do, gosh, it really is not a lot of room. So you can see there, it doesn't really show up the greatest, but I have widened the fiddle yard. So I'm going to get right down, and you can see there, I've salvaged a 1 foot width piece of, used to be the back scene out on Trinity Road, and finally fitted it in. And there's actually enough room on it. I don't know how well this is going to show up, but you can see there's a point waiting there. I'm going to add an extra 2 sidings coming off this bit of track here that you see the brake van is on. I need to put some lights in underneath here, so don't say, oh, you need some lights. I already know that I'm going to need a lot of lighting going on underneath there. But I've also, other things that I've got going on, I've got some of the Hobby Zone modules that Hatton sell coming along. And you can see underneath here, the reason that I want these is because at the moment, you can see back there, quality street tins, all sorts of assorted clutter, and these plastic crates. The one at the back is full of stuff like scatters, Metcalf card kits, and then the one at the front's got a lot of tools in, a few bits of materials, but finding anything is really tricky. I also have round here, where else do I store materials and tools? Well, I've got one of these. It's actually from Staples, so it's not entirely ideal, but at the time it's what was available. And you can see it's just a jumbled up, eclectic mix of stuff in each of these drawers. And what I'm hoping is that the Hobby Zone set of modules from Hattons will allow all of this stuff to be better organised, the tools to be better organised, the paints that were in those quality street tins will actually be visible and organised. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fit them in just underneath here. And there's a lot of videos gone up at the moment about you know, having these on your workbench, and it all looks neat and looks samey, and everybody that's been reviewing these has been doing them as much the same sort of a video. And what I want to do is show how they work in an environment like this. You know, I think there's probably a lot of people where they've taken the view, you know what, I'll work on the kitchen table if I want to sit and build a kit, or I'll work in whatever space that's available. But you don't necessarily have a workbench. I mean, this is about as close at the moment as my workbench gets. I extended this out, I can't remember if I talked about this, to make some space so that my keyboard now sits there, and I've got a stereo mixer. Gosh, this is from my days DJing clubs and stuff. I used to have this and a pair of turntables and a pair of CD players set up for me to kind of practice mixes and stuff. So, you know, like old school. And this is the way I used to roll as a teenager on this little bad girl. She's been in storage actually for probably 20 years. Gosh, doesn't time just get away from you? But the idea behind this, the reason this is set up is not because I'm trying to, having a midlife crisis, trying to relive my youth. I'm a time traveller.
Oh, yes.
Where's the TARDIS?
Out the back.
My youth as a DJ, as top DJ with my fat tunes. No, this is all actually to do with being able to do the Jenny Monday Club from up here in the loft. What I want to be able to do is to use the microphone in channel, which is this one here. I need to dig out and find my microphone to plug in there. And it'll also let me wear my headphones, adjust all the levels and stuff. And actually, sadly, these aren't going to be connected to anything. So it's set to Phono 1 and Phono 2, but my turntables, they've kind of got split up and put up on ordinary stereos just to listen to music. You know, as you get older, kids, what happens is all this hip and trendy stuff that you think, I'm going to be this top DJ in Ibiza when I grow up. For most people, it doesn't happen. You get a real job and move on. And then if you're lucky like me, you branch out into doing this kind of stuff. But it's going to come in useful. The problem is that my computer down here is state of the art, and I really do mean that. In fact, one of the things that it has, gosh, kids, do you remember these? Zip 100. Gosh, actually, I wonder if that company still exists. That's from my days as an aviation researcher, well, aviation journalist researcher for a guy who did all of the aviation-related stuff. And back then, kids, the internet wasn't what it is now, and if they wanted to send you big graphics files, they physically posted them on these things. And yeah, this is before CDRs were a big deal, so used to get these posted from companies in usually in America, and they were great because they never wanted the discs back, and these were expensive back in the day. It takes 100 megabytes, which is nothing in this day and age, but the computer still exists, never took it out, so it does still work actually. But hey, yeah, that's where we're up to. A lot of rolling stock has gone into that fiddle yard underneath. I don't think there's really any point trying to get down here and film because it's just dark and dingy under that. I do need to sort out lighting. But yeah, that's roughly where we're up to. Other things that's going on, well, I talked a bit about lighting and that, and what I would love to do is get some more of these Econ Burco color aspect signals. So there's one down there. There, I can energize it. It's not really the best location for it because you have to really kind of get in here to see it in all its finery. But I'm really, really impressed by these. So my plan is to get a few more of them rather than resurrecting old Hornby 001s. I did do that on the other side of the layout. But I kind of like the idea of a few more colour aspect signals dotted around the layout. Now, the two that are on that gantry, they did work on Trinity Road. And I do need to get them rewired in. The trouble is that in being removed from Trinity Road, I'm not quite sure which wire does what. They're not actually marked up. So that could end up being quite a difficult project. But I do want to put some other colour aspect signals dotted around. Maybe even some ground signals which will change with the points. I'll use some of the PL13 switches, which down here in amongst all my bits and pieces, yeah, there's one. This is what a PL13 looks like, and it's just a kind of a switch, a sliding switch. They're ever so simple inside if you ever dismantle one. But what you do is stick them to the bottom of the point motors, so when the points change, they automatically change a switch that will then you have a signal wired through. So plans and plans. Over here though, I've still got two spare on levers, and the idea is that over here I'd like to add a few more colour aspect signals. So that there is an old Hornby 001. I do quite like them actually. They do hold their own with the base removed. But don't just go ripping up perfectly decent ones because they are, antique-y these days. Just use the ones which are knackered. But I want to put another one over here somewhere and dot them around. Have some semblance that the signalling makes sense, sort of ish. Anybody who knows what a lot about signalling is probably looking with horror at the placement of my signals. None of those ratio kits actually work. Getting those ratio signalling kits to work remotely is nigh on impossible unless you're some kind of model making genius. And actually, to be honest with you, I'm not really that bothered. But the colour aspect signals, I quite like the idea of getting some of them to work. But that's roughly where we're up to. Got these lovely faux paintings. They're actually prints, but they're done to look like oil paintings with the texture that's on them. Les was kind enough, that's Les Cliff, kind enough to give me those. And they do kind of add to the decor in here. I just wish I had a lot more flat walls. Blur Modern Life is rubbish. I actually think I might put Animals by Pink Floyd in because that's got a railway related kind of album cover as well. Maybe swap between the two. They're the only two railway related album covers that I can actually think of in my collection or even at large. There's a Foreigner album, I can't remember what it's called, that's got a picture of an American train on the front. It's the one that's got Star Rider and Cold as Ice. Can't for the life of me at this moment remember what it's called. Other things that has been going on, I've been slowly DCC fitting my Locomotive collection. These over here are not fitted until you get to that one. That one you... I'm trying to think, have you seen the video? No, the video goes out tomorrow of a quick review of some DCC chips that I've been reviewing. So that's chipped, and then as we go this way, all of these are chipped, including the BT Well tank. So it's quite a collection of chipped locos now. All of these are chipped. The ones underneath, they're not chipped, they're on the to-do pile. And again, all of these up here are on the to-do pile. And it doesn't really matter how many you chip, there always seems to be loads and loads more. I lose, well, actually, no, I don't lose count. I've got a spreadsheet, and I think it's about 100 chipped locos now, because obviously there's quite a few on the layout as well. So you see hanging around the turntable area, there's lots of locomotives. All of these are chipped. So everything you see on the layout is chipped. Yeah, I'm getting through it. And it's interesting, actually. I'm going to talk, well, by the time this video comes out, because this is Friday's video, we will have had the live stream, which, as of filming this, hasn't yet taken place. But by the time you watch this, it will have taken place earlier in the week that this goes out. I'm thinking of talking about DCC versus DC. DC still has a lot going for it. And one of the things, actually, which I have experimented on with DCC, and I've not, I've got it to work, but I've not been massively impressed with the way it works, is double and triple heading. And is one of the things that I found is that what sold me on the kind of the technology of DCC, quite apart from simplifying layout wiring, and don't believe the it's just 2 wires to the track. Well, I beg to differ. And if we go down and let's have a look at the rat's nest, you can see all that wiring there. 2 wires to the track. I should cocoa. There's bundles and bundles of it over there, and it goes around. Look at the little rat's nest, and there's more of a rat's nest there. And then when we go over there, don't even start me on what's underneath all of that. So 2 wires to the track with DCC. No, there certainly is not. But you don't have to have all these isolating sections and sections that switch between different controllers. And that at least does provide an element of simplicity, well, simpler. But it was the sound chips that really did it for me. So let's just see what sound chips I've got. Where are we? Let's have a look now. So Loco 592. So you can see that's quite a nice little one, isn't it? But I'll be honest with you. Let's just stop that one. Let's find a different one. So Loco 8123, and I'm just messing about here with this. What happens? F1. Oh, that's nice. That's actually the TTS, the Hornby TTS chip, and the Class 20 Hornby TTS chip is exceptionally good, I have to say. So that's in a Bachmann Class 20. So best of both worlds, really good Class 20 and really good sound chip for a pretty reasonable price. So let's turn that off. It can get quite noisy when you've got lots and lots of locomotives running. And then this one, let's have a look, 2552. So 2552, enter. There we go. And what happens when we press that? There we go. She's started up. Yes, I know. Come on. Have a guess. Come on. Which one of you's going to spot it first? Which one of you will be the first to point something out? I do love my Class 25s. Now, I love this chip because this chip has got, there we go, a thrash button. I do like that. So actually, I mean, the big question for me with DCC is, am I getting bored with it? The sound is really good. But when you've got trains just running and running and running, what I tend to find myself doing is turning the sound off. And it's something I've always found with model railways is I actually quite like to sit here in the middle on a chair or on a comfy cushion, and I read a book whilst the trains go round, and it's almost like they become a white noise generator. It's quite a pleasing sound, and I relax with the trains just running and running round, and I just read a book. And do I really need DCC sound for that? I mean, do I really need DCC at all? I'd argue that the simplification of the wiring is actually really good. It does mean that I can make a lot more use of this track layout without needing complicated isolating sections and the like. But in terms of the benefits for me, it's not the paradigm shift that I sort of thought it might have been. I'm not really quite sure what I was expecting, but certainly I don't think it's. I think DCC is really here to last. It's not like 01 that kind of was a thing and then wasn't a thing. And I don't think that DCC is going to peter out. You know, it's quite clear it's here to stay. But I think it's going to take a lot more to be enhanced in DCC before it becomes the killer must-have app. And sound is possibly only part of that. Different functions. I like the idea in principle of the new Bachmann Class 90 that has a pop-up pantograph. Things like that. It's what they called on GMRC animations. And, being able to pop the pantograph up and down, I don't think that that's the killer app in and of itself, but what it shows is that kind of thing, whether it's opening doors on passenger trains that could be controlled through servo motors on DCC, I don't know. But whatever it is it going to be expensive? Well, yeah, model trains are expensive now. But it's all thoughts that I've already, at this point, by the time you watch this video, gone over in the live stream. So I just thought I'd talk a bit candidly about my thoughts here and now. But until next time, thanks again for taking a trip with me up here into the loft to Weir Yard. It's always great to have you along here. I really do enjoy your company. And I always do read your comments, even if I don't get round to replying. So always great to hear from you. Don't forget as well that you can support the channel by buying my books, actually. It's a really good way to support the channel and get some great science fiction to boot. Also do comic collections too. So something for everyone if you follow the links down below. You can also check us out over on Patreon if you're feeling particularly generous. But until next time, don't forget to like this video, share it too, and also subscribe to the channel, and you'll be the first to know about new videos as and when they go up. But until next time, this is me, Jenny Kirk, from Weir Yard in the Loft, saying, but until next time, thanks for watching, and you take really good care of yourself. Bye for now. Today's video has been brought to you in part thanks to the generous donation of my fans on Patreon. And an extra special huge thanks goes out to Anthony Kidson, Michael Churchwood, Bob Threeton, Alec Ralph, Anthony Hunt, William Wade, Wayne Johns, Offshore Allen, and oorail.co.uk. If you'd like to help support the show, head on over to patreon.com/Jennifer Kirk. Thank you. Today's video has been brought to you by my books, Bringing Home the Stars, Twinkle Little Star, and also you can get the complete comic collections of All Over the House, Books 1, Books 2, and also the wacky zany Life of Knob T Mouse. Thanks, and catch you later.